Hi, this is Dan Sullivan. I'd like to welcome you to the Multiplier Mindset Podcast. I have a wonderful free zone transformation story today, and it's Bill Bloom, and Bill is from Chicago. And a lot of the entrepreneurs who come into Strategic Coach, we're in our 32nd year. They're in their 40s, or sometimes in their 50s, but Bill joined the program when he was 27. And I said, Bill, I didn't even know it was legal to be 27 years old. I didn't know it was possible to be 27 years old. But in 7 years, he's multiplied his company by 7 times. The reason is that Bill went right for the center of how you grow as an entrepreneur. And it's our concept of the self-managing company. And what it requires is that you just identify your unique ability as an entrepreneur and take every activity that isn't your unique ability. In other words, you're really good at it and you love doing it. And you free yourself up through a series of teamwork steps where you bring on other people who are much better at the thing that you're not good at. And you keep surrounding yourself with people whose their unique ability handles a whole part where you weren't very good.
I'm Bill Bloom. Your money is a byproduct of how you want to live your life. And throughout Coach, it's made me realize that even more because your time is the most important thing. That's your most important asset. So what I've really transitioned my life, my own personal life and my own business into making others' lives so much more better and so much more purposeful by getting your money in order. So that way you can retire as you desire. That's what our motto is. That's our tagline, and that's our phrase, and that's how we live our lifestyle. So like I'm 35 right now, and I feel like I'm retired. Like I'm growing my business, but I have a self-managing company now because of Coach. Being in the gap when I first started Coach, I'll tell you that in a minute, but has really made me evolve into looking at the gain, looking at the positivity in life. And I'm going through a really difficult time right now. You know, we're moving into our new house. We have a 19-month-old. My mom passed away 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago. I'm dealing with all my dad's stuff. So it's all going back to the who, not how, and applying that into life and just being calm. Like I feel okay. I feel good. I feel like there's still a purpose and a passion in my own life, even though we're dealing with a lot of turmoil. Almost 8 years ago when I joined Coach, I would have been a wreck, a complete wreck going through this. So it's just been really difficult, but also a huge benefit because there's a lot of positivity around this. You know, she's not suffering, number one, but number two is I'm really able to take a lot of the positive takeaways from her and implement that into life and just allow her to still be present in our lives. And that's the most important thing. From a young age, I never wanted to work for someone. You know, I saw my parents always struggle with money. They were always in the gap with money, always. When they made $1, they would spend $1. They never knew how to figure out how to save anything. And when I was a kid, also when we were in 5th grade, my best friend's father passed away. So they had no savings, no life insurance. I saw at a very young age, and this happened on Thanksgiving of all days, the financial magnitude and the impact of not planning, what that has on someone's lifestyle. You know, they were able to stay in their house and, you know, have a pretty good life, but they were brought up on Social Security. And I never envisioned wanting that. And I always knew I wanted to have a bigger and better future for myself and for my family. And that's why I wanted to become an entrepreneur so that I could really have control over my time and, you know, your 4 freedoms of relationships and money and your time and your purpose and your passions. Just that really always stuck out to me because when one of my parents would get laid off or if they had an issue at work, and I never wanted to be that person. I always wanted to be hiring people, and I'm helping my dad figure things out now because of it. I'm his who. Right out of college, I started working at Prudential. They're a large financial and insurance company. And I started basically working under their umbrella for 6 years. I basically had no income. I had to create it. So that was like an entrepreneurial mindset. But I was 22. I really didn't know too much about the entrepreneurial world. I mean, I had read some books, but my journey started working the 80 to 100 hours a week, doing everything myself, not realizing that I needed help. And I really got burnt out from that. And that's really where I joined a program called the $1 Million Roundtable, MDRT. So Coach is super familiar with that. I really started to learn about Coach that way because I made that organization in my first year in the business. So that's how I was introduced to Coach at a super young age. And I started learning about free days and focus days. And I also started learning about, okay, what should I be doing with my time? Should I be developing a team? And throughout my age from 22 all the way up to 28 when I left Prudential, I had a couple part-time team members who would just help out with some paperwork here and there, but I never really fully embraced Coach. When I was 27, that's when I started realizing I need to leave this company. I need to go out on my own, start my own company. I always knew I wanted to do that because I didn't have all the tools for my clients. I had a couple of them, but I didn't have all of the tools for the people, who I wanted to be a hero to. So I was able to transition from 27 into 28 years old, from having great income, great salary. I've built up a really good client base and I loved my clients. But you know what the problem was? I lost all of them. I lost all my clients. I lost all my income when I left and started my company at 28. I had just started Coach at the time. So that was a huge investment for me. I mean, that was a lot of money because my net income the next year was like $24,000 positive. It was a really rough year and I didn't plan well enough. I just started Coach, so I didn't understand what I really was doing at that time. That's why I have no hair left. It was a really difficult time. And that was part of the gap in my life. I went back to doing everything myself. I have to do it my way. And that's where being in the gap for a couple of years was really just a difficult time for me. But it wasn't enough. I wish I would have started Coach 2 years prior because I would have had a lot of the foundations in place and I would have hired people sooner. I waited too long to hire other team members. I started learning about the unique ability process through Coach, and that's where it really hit me. And that's what actually allowed me to focus in on whomever I wanted to be a hero to even further and even deeper. And it really made me specialize in one area, and that was the retirement planning, because that's the number one fear of people in general is running out of money. So therefore I realized, okay, I know how to help people plan for this. So those are the people who I want to be a hero to. But then it went even further because a lot of my clients became business owners like myself because we could relate to the struggles and the things we go through and hiring and staffing and payroll. And I realized there's so much more to life than just stopping working. And that's where the epiphany went off with the Retire As You Desire when I wrote a book about it, is to really take that phrase and make it all about purposeful, passion-filled living. Because I have clients who have retired from their 9-to-5 and started a company. I have had clients who have taken on new careers and doing new things or starting new companies during this time in their life because they think that they're going to live to 100. They are super grateful people. And those are the people who there's been a great synergy there. So going back to starting when I was 28 at that time, I was super lost. But throughout the process, working with Coach has helped me tremendously. But here's where the game comes into play, is I built a local team that handles everything for my business. And that's really where the game comes into play, is that I really focused on my unique ability, number one. We focused on game-changing activities to help the business grow and make our clients' lives the best as possible from how we impact them. And then lastly, the nice thing about having a self-managing company at 35 now is giving me the opportunity to, work on my moonshots. I had a call with Adrian Duffy just a few weeks ago about this. And this is what I talked to Dan about, is building this international financial company. And this is really where the game comes into play. Because when I joined the 10 Times program I was really at a standstill in the signature program. I got to a point where I was a little bored. Like I needed another challenge. That's what it was. I needed to take that next step and write that bigger check, because that has changed my thinking. And that's where building this international financial company and finding the right who's to really help with this process. They've been showing up at the doorstep throughout the past 2 months of this process. So that's really where the gain comes into play. We've been able to 10 times our revenue from year one till now. So that's in almost a 7-year period now. So that's been huge. And the who, not how has been just more prevalent in my life after reading the book. But the thing is, I started utilizing my who's in our circle. From our compliance team. I mean, we have hundreds of people who help us. So we started to utilize them as much as possible. So we took a lot of things off of our own plate so that my team is in their unique ability. We just hired another person. I didn't create the ad. I didn't do anything besides the final interview. I'm not training them. I'm not doing anything with that. Nothing. I just gave them access to the calendar. That's it. I've done nothing else. So from a gain perspective, my team is empowered and they love doing this. And that's part of their unique ability because we use Kolbe to do that. So from a gain perspective, it was miserable in the first couple of years from the gap, but now the gain is just so incredibly rewarding because self-managing company, we could take as much time off as we'd like to, but it's allowing me to work on this moonshot project and really make a bigger and better future for other people. And I never would have thought like that 7 years ago.
I'm surrounded in Strategic Coach by people on every side who, in an area that I used to try to do myself, I'm freed up completely because they love doing it. They're much better at it. And we're in teamwork with each other. So Bill just said, this is the secret of my future. This is how I'm going to grow forever. I'm just going to master unique ability teamwork. And he would talk to his friends who are other entrepreneurs, and they said, well, how can you afford that? And he said, well, I can afford it because I have no alternative. He says, I'm going to make it a goal to have this person and then this person, and I'm going to make more and more money so I can pay for other people's unique abilities. And I'm going to make all the money I need so that I can be surrounded on all sides by unique ability teamwork. So I just get for the rest of my entrepreneurial life, which he still has a lot of, next 50 years, next 60 years, it's nothing but unique ability teamwork. And I already have mastered that in my first 7 years. He didn't come from this. He's an entrepreneur and his parents weren't. They weren't entrepreneurs. And he always felt that his parents struggled, with money. And very early on, he says, you're always going to struggle if you don't own your own business. Now he's really expanding, and now he's looking to do what we call free zone collaborations with other experts in legal field, accounting field, other area specialties of financial services, people in other industries like technology, artificial intelligence. And he's doing this all at 34, already have solved a problem in his first 7 years that some entrepreneurs can get to their 60s and 70s, and they never solve that problem. They're always doing things that they never should have been doing from the beginning. And Bill got that real clear, and he got rid of all that. And now his future is just a free zone of constant growth and collaboration with other people. Really wonderful story to tell.